Welcome to Capture Rapture, and I'm bringing you a quick look at the prototype of the Universim. This is the first very early public prototype of the Universim. It was a game I funded on Kickstarter ages ago, and we've finally got the prototype. It was meant to be out in December, but we're in February now and it's out. I'm quite excited to jump in, and I'm just going to see what it's all about. This is the email I got, and as you can see, they say it's not the final game, it's not alpha nor beta. It contains a few Easter eggs, and it gives you an overall sense of the mood of the game. Also, it's kind of nothing like this at the moment. They've moved on, they've updated the models and mechanics, and then generally improved it. So when you start the game, or the prototype, this is what it looks like, the world. Really nice. You can scroll around it, and zoom in and zoom out. And I've spent some time with it, and I'll show you the most interesting parts that I've found so far. These seem to be the very first primitive people on Universim. As you can see, they rely on their fires, they've got wooden structures, and they seem to be wearing brown loincloths. This, I think, is the next advancement of people at the moment. They've got proper houses and farming. Rabbits at the moment for some reason, but they definitely have farming. And the final advancement at the moment, big sprawling cities. They've got nuclear power, they've got they're pumping oil. They've also got wind farms for nice clean energy, but also they're gathering oil from the oil rigs, as you can see here. Also, on a side note, that satellite in the background I think says made in China, which is quite funny. I think this is a really nice shot. You've got the aeroplane going past and the birds following it. I found some strange creatures, but I'm not sure what this is. It looks like a giant rat to me, but I think it might be a deer. I also found this lovely giraffe creature, and as we saw farmed earlier, there's a rabbit in the wild. Wait for it. There you go. For some reason, there is a floating cow. It's in outer orbit and just keeps on orbiting the Earth, spinning. I kind of feel sorry for it, really. But it's got one hell of a view. This is a really cool shot out of the advanced city. You see the spaceships blasting off. And it's really cool when they go into hyperdrive. There you go. Really, really nice. And you can also pan out and see what's around. Apart from the planet, there seems to be other stuff in the universe. That rock boulder over there, which makes me think that maybe there can be a collision with our planet if we're really unfortunate. And of course the sun. A game like this wouldn't be complete without a UFO crash. Maybe this is how life started. Also, it has a really nice weather system. As you can see, there's lightning falling down there, or striking down, should I say. And also that shipwreck as well at the bottom of that lake. It looks really cool. I'm not sure if that's coral or maybe an oil vein down at the bottom. Along with the planes and the cow, there's a satellite orbiting our planet. I discovered that you can click on the airplane as well. Once it wobbles, and then the second time you click it, it actually crashes. It took me a while to realise, but there's these logs hidden throughout the world. And I'm going to read them because I found them all. Or I think I found them all. So, log 1. So it appears that despite my best efforts, I am stuck here. There has been no word from home planet besides that awful holding music. You would think intergalactic space missions would receive some sort of priority on the transmission system. But I guess not. The distress beacon would usually do the trick, although it seems they build them out of cardboard nowadays. I guess I have no other option than to abandon the ship and set out on foot before I am spotted. I know I should have packed my umbrella. Log 2. I have managed to disguise myself in human attire. People are still giving me strange looks due to my greenish skin, but at least I am stranded amongst bipeds this time. Everyone seems to keep mostly to themselves, which is pretty lucky for me. Although, I have had a few encounters with pushy salespeople and pamphlet-wielding enthusiasts so far. I haven't quite mastered the art of communicating verbally in this peculiar language yet, so staring at them until they back off on their own has proven the most effective method of deterrence so far. I will keep that in mind going forward. Log 3. My observations of daily human life have uncovered many unusual, previously unknown facts. The first has revealed that a vast majority of these beings seem to worship some kind of half-eaten fruit, a strange behaviour for a species considering to be the next big up-and-comer, but we have all been there at some stage. They also appear to have a strange obsession with cats, and what little time I had with their global network, I fear it may be a result of excessive fuel emissions cutting off oxygen supply. You would think a species capable of space travel would have found a better way of generating energy by now. At least they haven't tried to kill each other on a global scale for a while. Now log 4, I spent absolutely ages looking for, couldn't find it. Eventually, I think I found it, and it's underwater. And I think this is it, but I cannot click on it. I've tried trying to click it at every angle possible. I've tried zooming in, zooming out, but it doesn't seem to work. So I can't read log 4, or what I assume is log 4 for you. Log 5. The humans are now denying me sustenance. I believe it has something to do with spending all of the stranger's currency. The owners mentioned that I should consider getting a job before throwing me out of the restaurant. I must admit that I know very little of this planet's labour requirements, but I guess it's worth a shot. It would need to be something that allows me to remain incognito. My appearance still draws a few queer glances from onlookers. I cannot allow my colleagues to uncover the truth. Log 6. There was an opening at a nearby amusement park. The job involves applying face makeup and dressing in bulky, multicoloured clothing. While not particularly subtle, it managed to conceal my true identity quite well. It's surprising how many patrons are utterly terrified of me. Identifying said individuals has become a rather amusing pastime. Slowly moving into their general vicinity when their back is turned has a very satisfying payoff. Log 7. I cannot quite understand why I've taken to using this language for every log so far. I guess it has a good ring to it. Well, that and the fact that it offers literally hundreds of ways to insult people. A good few can actually pass underneath the radar if used in the right company. When I eventually get off this rock, it's going to be a great few months back home until everyone catches on. On a side note, I lost my job as the scary painted man. It had something to do with a trapeze act, a skittish bronco, and a Dutch hound. The details escaped me. Log 8. It has been well over 3 months and I still haven't repaired this blasted distress beacon. I am surprised no one has bothered looking for me yet. It must be a busy year for crash landings again. From what I heard from conspiracy theorists, it sounds like people from my planet crash here all the time. That is one of the problems with my planet. $1 million intergalactic propulsion technology, $2 bill quality. Look at me using human sayings. I think I've gotten too comfortable here. It must be the free food delivery services. Log 9. I have managed to acquire a new job at a local video game store. What humans lack in technology, social skills, cooperation and self-control, they make up for in creativity. I have eaten many mushrooms in my travels thus far, but none have made me grow to the extent that this medium would have you believe. I am even beginning to doubt the legitimacy of everything I see on the internet. I guess there really isn't any Nigerian treasure after all. I may need to change my address. Log 10. Working at a video game store has its perks. My co-worker Chris seems to be quite the ladies' man. His computer is littered with provocative images of females in varying levels of undress. Trophies, no doubt. One of the perks of the jobs is that we get mostly every Friday night off, a night that my new friend Chris has christened Game Night. I once believed it to be somewhat of a euphemism for one of his nights out on the town, but he finally invited me to join him last week. This planet's women are not really my thing, so I was glad to discover Game Night actually involved playing a game called Dungeons and Dragons. Chris must be a true master if he managed to juggle playing so many games and still have time for the ladies. I made a wizard character and managed to get to level 3 before the night's end, whatever that means. Log 11. There appears to be some kind of government election soon. The interesting thing is that just about anyone can run for office with the right support. Too bad I'm considered an illegal alien. It could have been rather exciting. Chris doesn't seem to care at all too much about it, but it has to be somewhat important if the entire country is getting riled up. Things are pretty different on home planet. If politicians don't do their job, they aren't voted out of the office. They're jettisoned into space on a collision course with a primitive planet to live out their days alone. You may find that a bit extreme, but it actually does a great job of keeping everyone in line. Besides, it really isn't as bad as it sounds. You have a choice between a juice box and a stick of gum before you go. Wow, that's very generous. Maybe we should do something like that on Earth. Log 12. After what seems like an eternity, I finally got the distress beacon working. At one stage, I got so desperate, I even contacted a human tech support call centre for any ideas. That's not going to be good, is it? Turning it off and on again didn't work, so we eventually both gave up. However, I've decided that I want to stay for a little longer, mostly because this planet has really grown on me, but I must admit that the thought of having to restart my level 50 wizard is a strong contributing factor as well. I quite like this simple lifestyle. It's most certainly a nice change in pace from all the life-threatening missions that the last few years have thrown at me. Chris has begun talking about starting up an indie game studio on the side. He seems pretty serious. I took a look at the programming languages humans use for such things, and it appears to be pretty basic, at least by intergalactic standards. I rate we can get this thing off the ground. I mean, how hard can it be? I'd say it's pretty damn hard, since every game is in early access these days and very, very buggy, but I'm hoping Universim is not one of them, and hopefully it's going to be a really, really big success. I love these type of games, this kind of god sim-ish games, and I will be bringing you news and updates when I find out about them. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.